the whiteout game.
Yes.
Penn State against Iowa.
Give us a stat here.
Iowa, Jason, our producer, gave me a stat. Iowa shut out for the first time since the year 2000. They lose 31-0, which is a bit surprising because Iowa's offense has not been very good over the last few years.
What's the number now? The average points per game for Brian Ferentz?
Not good. I don't even think.
Break down averages right now.
It might be mathematically impossible for him to get 25 a game now.
I mean, it's somewhere in the low 20s now. It's got to be, right?
It might be. So another game that was going on concurrently with our game.
Real quick.
Yes.
Iowa had 76 total yards. Cade McNamara, he threw for 42 yards, and they had 20 total yards rushing.
I mean, they threw the ball 16 times. Cade threw it 14 times in the whole game.
14 times in the entire game. I mean, that's 76 yards of total offense.
Guys, that's nasty. Like, I'm not trying to hate
and I give a lot of credit to Penn State defense, but even some of those schools that they played early on, whether it was Delaware or some of these schools, were able to put up more than 76 yards. And I know it was a sloppy game and all that stuff.
Wet out there.
It was wet, but at the end of the day,
didn't stop Penn State from moving the ball though.
Well, that's the weird thing. I mean, Drew Aller threw the ball 37 times for 166 yards, but did have 4 touchdowns.
Efficiency. Effective and efficient.
Effective, with the touchdown total. Weird. Another game that we're gonna have to go back and see, but like it seems quite apparent now that if it wasn't apparent before, the Big Ten is a 3-team race. Although maybe I shouldn't discount Maryland at this point, but
no,
Penn State looks a cut above, Ohio State looks a cut above, and Michigan, that we'll get to, looks a cut above. Here, anything more to say about Penn State, this win for them?
No, they just got to keep stacking, right? And I think the reps are really valuable for the young quarterback. And one of the things that I will say is teams, I think, have tried to force the game into his hands. You mentioned the amount of attempts that he had.
Yes.
Wet weather. I think teams are trying to say, if you're going to beat us, it's not going to be the 2 backs on your roster that we know are really good. It's going to be a young quarterback and a wide receiver group that is talented, but not necessarily proven.
Right. They're not necessarily proven. And I think that's the way you've got to approach it, right? Because they'll pound you to death with that run game. They've got a big physical offensive line. And at the end of the day, you want to put the ball in Drew Aller's hands and see if he can handle those type of moments. And he's done a really good job. Every time I've watched him, every time we've seen him play thus far, he does a good job of taking what they give him. And when you do something like that as a quarterback, it shows maturity. It shows that you're doing the right thing. You're not greedy. You're not trying to force things down the field, and he's taking good care of the ball for the most part. And so for him, if he can continue on that trend, big plays will come.
Yes.
Right? Because the balancing act of that offense, when they can run the football effectively with those 2 big backs and then also have a defense the way that they play, they're okay with that type of offensive scheme. They don't have to have the explosive plays, but it's going to open up that pass game for him later on. And so they just got to keep grinding away.